Hi, I'm certainly glad you could join me today. You ready to do a fantastic little painting? I tell you what, let's start out today. Have them run all the colors across the screen that you need to paint along with me. And while they're doing that, let me show you what I've done up here. I have my standard old canvas up here, but today I've taken black gesso and I've just sort of sketched in with the black gesso a rough idea here, just some tree indications, and just this whole bottom area here is covered completely with black gesso. I've allowed that to dry totally, and then I've covered it with a transparent color, which today I'm using a mixture of alizarin crimson and a little bit of phthalo blue. Another thing that you'll find that'll help when you're doing this, sometimes it's very difficult to scrub that old stiff paint over the black gesso. If you will take a little bit of liquid clear and put on here, but a little tiny bit, then when you start putting this transparent color on, it'll go on just as smooth as glass. And it makes it a little easier for you. So I tell you what, let's start out today with the old 2-inch brush. We'll go right into a small amount of the phthalo blue, just a little bit. Just tap the bristles into a little bit of it, don't need much. Now then, up here I've just applied liquid white as usual, so that our color will blend with it and we can create all kinds of effects. There. And we'll just drop in quick little, just a happy little sky. There we are. Now this blue is very transparent, so see, these things still show through. And that creates some beautiful effects. I'll show you as we go along here. Now then, I have a little bit of that lavender color left that I used to cover the black gesso, and it's just, as I say, alizarin crimson and phthalo blue. Maybe I'll put a little touch of that lavender color right along in here. And I'm still using just little crisscross strokes, little X's. Something like so. Okay, now let me wash my brush. That's the fun part of all this. And as you know, we wash our brushes with odorless thinner. We'll shake off the excess and just beat the devil out of it. Okay, now then. That brush washing makes all this worthwhile. I'm going to take some titanium white. I'll be right back. I'll get at least a little touch of yellow ochre. Yellow ochre and titanium white. And just mix those on the brush. You don't worry about it. Maybe in here, we'll put a little bit of that. We want to make a bright, happy little sky today. So we'll just drop that right in there. Now that lavender color that we put in here, that'll act as a barrier so the yellow does not touch the blue and turn bright green. There we go. Now then, wash the brush one more time. One more time. There's a screen down here in the bottom of this can, and that allows you to scrub the brush against it. That works great. But the screen allows the solid material to settle to the bottom, and it keeps your paint thinner relatively clean. And paint thinner never wears out. All you have to do is let it settle for a while, pour the paint thinner off, then throw away the sludge that accumulates in the bottom. And you can use it over and over again. There we go. But doesn't that make a very effective little sky? And you can just tap in all kinds of little things. If you want to mist this right together, just tap it and very lightly go over it. Okay. I think we have a nice little sky. Today, I'll tell you what, we haven't done many mountains in this series, so let's build us a little mountain. We'll take some black, alizarin crimson, mix that together. That'll make a nice lavender color, sort of a reddish lavender color. It's very pretty. You could take a little Prussian blue and add in there also a little bit of Prussian blue. Now then, pull it out very flat as usual, cut across, and there's our small roll of paint right out on the edge of the knife. It's most important. Now then, you have to make your first major decision. Let's come right up in here. Where does your mountain live? In our world, our mountain lives right here. And just begin working on some basic shapes. Just let this wander right on back here, wherever you want it. Maybe it comes out here, there may be a bump there, another one. Maybe it goes off. Just however you want it. It's really an individual thing. There, scrape off all the excess paint. It's most important you get all this excess paint off. And you're not going to hurt the canvas. Canvas is tough. Shoot, they make tents out of it. It's very tough. Now with a large brush, we'll pull that out. That does two things. It removes the excess paint even more, and it blends this down so it gets lighter and lighter in value as it works down the mountain. Now you can use the brush to create the sort of like the illusion of highlights and shadows just by using brush strokes, and it may not show too much on television, but when you do your own painting, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Okay, let's have some fun. Let's take a little white, a little bit of alizarin crimson, a little phthalo blue, making a dark lavender color here, maybe a little more of the crimson. There we go. We're going to make a shadow color. That's what I'm looking for. There, something about like so. Okay, once again, we cut off our little roll of paint. Now then, today, I'm going to apply the shadows first. Zoom. No pressure. Absolutely no pressure. Just barely, barely touching the canvas. The lighter, the better. No pressure whatsoever. Okay. Just put in a few of those little shadow areas. Maybe there's one going to be right in here. Wherever you think there'd be one. Now then. I'll just take a little dark sienna, a little bright red, a little touch of the yellow ochre into it. And we'll just make a beautiful little brown color here. But leave it marbled like this so all kinds of things are happening. Don't overwork it. Our little roll of paint again. Now we can go up in here and begin picking out all these little individual things. Once again, though, absolutely no pressure. No pressure. Just let the knife barely, barely touch. And follow these basic angles that you have in your mountain. There. Just all kinds of little things happening. Just let your imagination wander here. Do whatever makes you happy. There we are. I'm going to highlight even this. So all we're doing here is just applying a little bit of color. We're not really too concerned at this point. And I don't want to lose all this light area down here. That'll be very pretty. I'm going back to some of the shadow colors. Shoot, maybe there's a bump right in there. Watch here. If we want to have a little indentation or something different, just drop it in. On this canvas, you can do anything that you want to do. You have absolute and total power. There. I think that's one of the things that attracted me to painting so much. Because here I could create any kind of world that I wanted. Any kind of world. And there's no violence here. Everything's happy. And that's what I wanted. Shoot, if you want violence, turn the news on. Okay, now then. I'm going to take white, just titanium white. Pull it out as flat as I can get it. And once again, we're going to cut off that little roll of paint. Now then, I want to put the indication like as a little highlight. Just zinging through here. Very, very delicate touch. Let that paint break. Let it break. That's nice. There we go. Wherever you think it should be. But angles are very important. Very, very important here. Don't just hit it at random. There. Now then, we'll take a clean, very dry 2-inch brush, and we can tap this. Follow the angles. Follow those angles. There we are. And then very lightly blend it upward. That brings everything together, takes out all the little tap marks. And that quickly, we have a beautiful little mountain sitting right out here. Okay. I beat the brush like that because there's a little paint that is collected, and that way you can take that paint off without going through the whole cleaning procedure. Let's take Let's see, today we'll use some Prussian blue, some black, a little brown, a little bit of sap green, maybe even a little alizarin crimson. What the heck, whatever makes you happy. Dark colors. We're looking for very dark colors. There we are. Now then, a little bit of this pile I'm going to take out and add to that just a small amount of yellow. I want it to be a little bit lighter. There. Little yellow ochre. There we go. Maybe even a little white in there. There, that's nice. It's a little lighter than this pile over here. We have two piles. One's a little lighter. Let me get a fan brush. Okay. Now I'm going to load the fan brush full of color. Full of color. Let's go right up in here. Now back in here. We're just going to have all kinds of little evergreen trees that live far back in the distance. There. Okay. See there? I'm just tapping downward. That's all we're doing here. And we just let that go wherever. We don't know where it goes. Wherever you want it to go. There's one way up in there. Now, see some of these things like right in here, we painted that on with black gesso, but I don't want to cover those. I want them to stay because it'll look like misty, soft things that are far, far away. See them all up here? Those can be so beautiful in painting. Try not to kill all of them. Looks like little background trees that are far away. Now here and there, maybe there's a tree that you can make out a little more detail. Just a few. Here and there. They're a little bigger, a little stronger. Okay. And we don't know where they go. They just go up here into the mist somewhere. Now I'm going to take my old 2-inch brush. I want to create some mist at the base of these. I got the least little touch of white on there. Just a small amount. It's easy to overdo, especially on this black here, because it'll just jump right out at you. I just want to create a little mist at the base. And that's all we need. That's all we need. At this point, it doesn't look like a great deal in here. But when we come back and begin laying in other things, that'll jump out at you. Okay? Super. Let's go in here, take a little touch of yellow. Be right back. Get a little of the sap green. Just tap it right into the bristles. And tap. That loads the bristles. Okay, let's go up here. You have to start making some big decisions. Where does our land live? Let's come right here. See, I think it lives right here. I've left a little bit of that mist in there. Now then, just begin making these big decisions again. Where does it go? All we're doing here is just tapping. See there? It looks like soft little grassy areas. Just soft little grassy areas. And this is just a mixture of, we'll use some sap green, cad yellow, a little yellow ochre, Indian yellow, maybe even a little touch of the bright red here and there. Just whatever makes you happy. Sort of look at it and make big decisions. Tell you what, I want a little water in there. Want a little water in there. I like water. If you've painted with me before, you know I like that water. Now, all I've taken is a little titanium white on the 2-inch brush. Touch and pull down. The color is on the canvas. And immediately, beautiful, beautiful reflections will happen. That's simple. That's one of the most fantastic things that happens when you use this black gesso. Love that. Now, it's very easy for it to get too bright on you, so be careful. And when you do this, it's so much fun, and you get carried away, and pretty soon, you let it go. As I've mentioned in some of the other shows, it's fun if you're doing paintings where friends or relatives or anybody's watching, to put the color in this black part and don't tell them there's color there. And then you take a little bit of white and touch it, and they think you're doing something that's magic, because all these beautiful colors will just jump out at you. There we go. Just going to tap a few more of the little grassy areas in here. Shoot, who knows? Maybe on the other side over here. Maybe there's another one. Yep, you're right. He lives right there. Wherever you want him. There we go. And you can put as many or as few little things in here as you want. Now, we'll put a reflection into that one too. All you do, little white, pull down. Even though this is going at an angle this way, these strokes need to come straight down, or they just won't look right. There, and very lightly come across. This stroke also needs to be horizontal, straight across, or it won't look right either. Okay, let's have some fun here. Let's take a little touch of the liquid white and put out here. I'm going to put a little touch of yellow ochre with it, maybe a little touch of dark sienna. Okay. Let me wipe off my knife. Let's take, we'll use the old filbert brush. Go into a little brown. Then I'm going to go down here and just pull one side of it through that mixture. It's thin paint. See? It's dark on one side, light on the other. Okay. Maybe there's a little stone. Just want to show you a nice way of making a happy little stone. See, he lives right there. That easy. You can paint both sides of the stone at one time. And we'll come down here, put a little grass right around his foots, and we're in business. Okay, back to my fan brush. Now we're going back to that original pile of dark color that we made. We want this to be dark now. Back to the very dark colors. Maybe there lives a tree right here. Notice I'm not going in here. Come right up here. See here, the ones with the black gesso back there? I want to leave those. I want to leave them because they're going to look like trees that are far back in the distance. I think that's very nice, and I want to save that area. Now, then all we're going to do here is just quickly drop in some little evergreen shapes. Maybe they live right there. We'll give them a friend. You know me. I think everybody needs a friend. They're the most important commodity in the world. There. When all else leaves you, your friends are still there, if they're true friends. Okay, we'll have another one then. Got so many friends here, this fella's never going to be alone. There we go. Let's go on the other side. Shoot, it needs some friends over there too. Maybe over here we have a big old tree that lives. Ping, right there. Wherever you want him. That's where he should live. And look around in your painting. Maybe if I put half a dozen trees in here, maybe you only want 2. Or maybe you want 24. It's up to you. It's up to you. Painting is very individual. Everyone who paints has their own idea of how their painting should look. And it's different. What I think's right, you may think is not. And that's what makes painting so special. It's a way of expressing what you feel, not what someone else feels. There, maybe we'll give them a little friend. Got to have little friends too. I get so many letters from young people all over the country. It's fantastic. And then we go out and we do a lot of demonstrations for PBS stations and help them make a happy buck here and there. And so many of my young friends come to see me. It's unreal. There we are. They're the most super people. And if I get to your area doing a demonstration, I hope you will come out and see us and support your station and enjoy a few hours with us. And if you'd like to be notified, I'm taking a little brown and white here. If you'd like to be notified when we're going to be in your area, just drop me a line with your name and address on it. We have a little mailing list. We'll add your name to it. We'll drop you a card when we're going to be in the area. There we go. Just all kinds of little trunks and things. Let's go on the other side. Give these trees over here a little something to hold them up. We don't want them left out. And you don't have to paint the whole trunk in because there's going to be some highlights on the front of the tree and you wouldn't see the entire trunk. Let's take a little, we'll use a little bit of the color we made the tree with, mixed with some cad yellow and a little yellow ochre. But see, just mix things on the brush. All those different colors will also be on your brush. You don't end up with one dead old color. Because nature rarely ever has just one color on something. Usually it's a collection of colors put together. Put a few little highlights on here. There we go. A little over here. Let the sun zing through there and just do happy things to the trees. Okay. Now don't overdo the highlights. It gets looking good and it feels good, and it's almost a tendency to cover up your whole tree with a light color. And if you lose all these beautiful dark areas, then there's no depth and there's no distance in each individual tree. They become very flat, and it'll disturb your eye when you look at the painting. And we want your eye to be happy. Let's go on the other side. Now to me, maybe the light's coming right down this valley, and maybe it's hitting on both sides. And we have an artist's license here. Remember, I've mentioned when you buy your first tube of paint, you get an artist's license. It says you can do anything that you want to do, at least on this canvas. Anything that you want to do. I like it. Shoot, when I go home, the only thing I can do is empty the garbage. But on this canvas, I can create worlds. I can create worlds. There. And so can you. There we are. All you need is a little imagination and some practice, and you have it. Okay, now then let's take an old 1-inch brush. I'm going to dip it into a small amount of the liquid white, just a small amount, and go right into some yellow and some green. Let's make a few little happy bushes here. And all we do is just give a little upward push and begin forming and shaping each individual bush. And maybe when you do your painting, maybe you want like fall. Maybe you want to do it in all kinds of beautiful reds and yellows and whatever. But use your imagination and do whatever feels good. If it feels good and it doesn't hurt anybody else, then it's all right. I guess. Let's go right up here. We'll put another bush right over on this side. We don't want him left out. And put as many or as few as you want. Just wherever you want them. Okay. Now then, we'll use a little bit of the same brown we made tree trunks out of. What the heck? Pull it out very flat, just a little bit, tiniest little bit. A little roll right on the edge of the knife. Let's go along here and just put in the indication of a little water line. More than anything else, we're just sort of scraping right through the colors on here and letting a little bit of the black canvas show. Okay, and over here, maybe a little bit. Shoot, who knows, maybe it even goes up in here, wherever. Now, let's go back to our big brush. Let's get crazy. Maybe, look here, look here, look here. Why not? Why not? Let this just come right on across here. See that blank gesso, you already have your dark down here. So all you have to do is apply your highlights. Makes your life so much easier. A little bit on the other side, we'll finish it up. And I'm just using the yellows, a little bit of sap green. Just put them together. There, just layer after layer. And as I've mentioned before, the softer you want this, the more you tap it. The more that you tap, the softer it'll become, till it looks like velvet laying out here. If that's what you want. It's up to you. Totally up to you. Grab this, pull it down. We just let that become part of the reflection. Come back with our knife with a little touch of that brown color, and we'll just clean up the edges, put a little indication of a little water line here. It's quite dark though. Now then, I tell you what, let me get another 2-inch brush with some nice dark color on it. This is that same color we made the other trees with. Maybe up in here, there lives a big tree. It's closer to us. Don't need much here because the black gesso, once again, creates most of what you need. Now then, I'm just going to take that same old brush because I want this to be dark. I want it to be very dark. And go right into a little of the yellow. Tap a little color on it. There. Now, let's come right up in here. Maybe this is a very large tree. And it has all these beautiful limbs that are hanging out. Look at there. See? You can take this big brush and make beautiful, beautiful details. Just let it work for you. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. There we are. Doesn't that look like big limbs that are all hanging over? I like what this brush does. Tell you what, let's do. Shoot. Let's have a little fun. Maybe we want to, looks like it ought to be a little baby tree lives right there. Just a little guy. And so we'll just drop him right in there. Anywhere you want one, put him in. Can do, easy. Put a little highlight on him so he'll stand out, be a nice individual. Look at there. Look at there. Back to my 1-inch brush. Tell you what, let's put a little bush right there. Just sort of look around your painting and decide what kind of little finishing touches that you want and drop them in. That's really all there is to it. I think we about have a completed painting. So we take a little thinner liner brush, touch of the bright red, and we'll sign this one maybe right here, wherever you want to. And with that, we'll call this painting finished. I really hope you've enjoyed this one because it'll teach you a great deal how to use the equipment and you'll have fun. From all of us here, happy painting and God